Hi, everybody. 24 hours after the final that was. Come with me and we'll discuss it. Hi, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Arsenal Fan Circle. It's an introspective episode, one where I'm going to talk about myself and my support for Arsenal this year. Unai Emery, the coach, the structure behind Unai Emery, and finally the players and where we can go from here. Wow, depressing times. I'm still numb, if I'm being honest. Still numb about yesterday's result. I feel like a parent who has been protecting his children all year, and the children have been disappointing me over and over and over again, and I've been protecting them. Of course, the children are the players in Arsenal, and I'm the parent, overlooking the problems and issues with this team. So, I gotta look at myself first and foremost, and stop being the optimistic parent who's always wishing and hoping this team will not disappoint me one more time. Well, as we know, they have disappointed me over and over this season, and we have supported them and hoped that things would change. Well, we had a fantastic opportunity in the league, and it feels obviously it's a long time ago now. It has been probably 3 weeks since the league season ended, and we had numerous chances in the league to attain top four, get Champions League, and look forward to the summer with more optimism, because whatever funds were going to come in the summer, it would surely be boosted by the Champions League and even the revenue uh, from winning the Europa League. But in league terms, we had numerous chances. We had opportunities to beat teams that we should have beaten. West Ham away from home, Southampton away from home, and more recently Everton away from home, where we lost to a 30-something-year-old defender's goal, Phil Jagielka. We were just not at the races at Everton. Continued with home games that we should have won as well. Even one of those games we should have won, and we'd been so good at home. Versus Crystal Palace and versus Brighton. Now, we did have to manage the Europa League campaign as well, and it did just show that trying to balance all of our eggs in the baskets was not working, did not work. Unai Emery compromised the squad by picking players that were not good enough for the team to go out in league games against Everton, Crystal Palace at home, and Brighton at home. And we got punished. And our away form, I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, I'm still numb from yesterday. I can't believe what happened. We lost our chance in the league, and this was our final chance for the team to have some fight, to stick up for itself, fight for each other, and play like a team. Have some drive, have some verve in them. But there was nothing. It was flat. And the most damning thing is that toward the end of the game, some younger players came in and actually showed the senior players enthusiasm, desire, drive, all of the things that seasoned pros should have. So now it's been 2 seasons with no trophies, and our decline remains. We have had some measure. Now let's talk about Emery. First and foremost, I'm supporting the coach, and he should go forward next season with this backing of the club, financially and any other way, and helping him with the setup. Edu's going to come in and should help him. But we have had a transition year, and that's what everyone would be able to agree with that. The Arsenal fan base is fractured all over the place, especially after this result against Chelsea in the Europa final. The Arsenal fan base is fractured. This is and always was going to be a transition year, and Unai Emery's remit was to get Champions League football, and he failed and the team failed in both of those objectives, because you could get Champions League football through the Europa League or the league program, the Premier League, to attain top four. We came fifth and we lost in the final, so in many respects it was very close. We did not have a David Moyes type of transition year. There has been some stability and some progress in this team in the last year, and we need to have some clarity and look on these things. The team has played better against top six teams, and clearly there is some kind of disconnect with some of this team, and we'll get into that in a moment. So, but one thing I don't like about Unai Emery and his comments was of this chameleon manager, and I feel like he's trying to protect the players in saying that he can change to suit any way that he wants to play. Now that may well be the case, but he should not give himself that label of a chameleon manager. And also another label that's been talked about with Unai Emery is Tinkerman, and he should not get labelled in the media with those monikers. So those are quite unfortunate things. Unai Emery has a huge job to do, and the club has a huge job to do. And the structure of the club is such that the owner of the club was not even at the Europa League final, and that is disgraceful in my point of view. From my point of view, to say that we were in a major final, European final, for the first time in 13 years, and none of the owner was not there. I think Josh Kroenke was there, but that is just a representative, a figurehead, if you will, of the club. Now, this is where the structure of the club needs to help Unai Emery and the team. Raul and Vinay have been put on record with their interview about how to move forward with this team. So they need to show the support to the coach. We cannot even entertain starting over in terms of coaching. Unai Emery is the man to go forward next season. Many of these players are not suitable to go forward next season. So Edu is going to come in as director of football, and he is going to need to work closely with Unai Emery, and hopefully that relationship works quite well. The other thing that I want to mention, the previous regime still is haunting us a little bit because of contracts that are coming through and have gone through. They've run down in Aaron Ramsey's case, and for the club to have invested over the years in proven, I'm going to put that in inverted commas, for proven talent. A lot of players now are coming to the end of their tenure at Arsenal. They have matured into 30, 31, 32, 33, 34 year olds. And this club is now top heavy with many, many players that are just not performing. And for the club of previous years to have Ozil and Sanchez come to their contracts at the same time, for their contracts to mature at the same time, is disgraceful. And I just wonder if Aaron Ramsey had been the one who'd come to maturity along with Alexis Sanchez, we would have been better suited to move forward with Aaron Ramsey and to find another club for Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil is 30 years old now, and he's definitely in the waning years of his career. He's on a downward spiral. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are coming to realise this now, that Mesut Ozil must be moved on very, very shortly, and hopefully in the summertime. But Aaron Ramsey, at 28 years old, should have been offered the contract instead of Mesut Ozil, in my opinion. And at 28 years old, Aaron Ramsey is coming into the prime of his career. Yes, he does have more injuries, but this just points to another mismanagement from the previous regime. So the players that need to move on, we all know these players. A transition year that Unai Emery has tried to navigate, but many of these players do not have the character and the willpower to turn things around when games go against them. This game in Baku reminded me very much of our away form, like a Manchester City away or a Liverpool away, where we're in the game for 35, 40 minutes, or the Wolverhampton game away from home. We're in the game for 30, 35 minutes, even 40 minutes in some aspects, and something unfortunate goes against us. We lose a goal. This team cannot react, does not have a good reaction to losing a goal. Heads go down, and it gets worse and worse. In the Europa League final, we lost the goal in 48 minutes to Olivier Giroud through Koscielny not covering him properly. There was approximately 11 or 12 minutes before the second goal came in. And if you don't think Unai Emery should have put substitutions on at halftime, he certainly should have done it after the first goal went in. And I think that's why he is kind of irritated with himself. In the 50th minute, the 55th minute, that was the time to make some changes. I did not believe we should have went with three at the back. I wanted a flat back four. Ozil was not afforded the opportunity to create because he was in a two-man midfield basically with Xhaka and Torreira, who were not able to handle. If we'd have gone the back four, Guendouzi probably could have come into the team, set up in a diamond formation, and I think we would have had a better chance with our two forwards getting more of a supply of the ball. But very depressing what happened. Going to sign off right now. The club needs to move forward with a ruthless and swift hand. We need to do things very quickly, and what's more important is we need to move these players on who are feeling no competition for their places, feeling that Arsenal and Colney is a nice environment for them to exist in, and they just come and go, and they don't really have any thinking about how much the fans have to pay, expense, time to get to games like Baku and away games. Next season, we will need to see a clear out of the older players and usher in the younger players, along with some astute signings. We're going to be more restricted in what we can do in the transfer market, and Unai Emery will need to be creative in what kind of cash he can bring in by culling some of these players. And if we have to do it at the expense of a loss or losing some money, we need to clear out the cobwebs of the previous regime, get rid of the older players because the squad is top heavy, introduce the younger players, bring back some players that are on loan like Emile Smith-Rowe, Reiss Nelson. Callum Chambers has a future this season. Bring back Bellerin, Holding, and bring in 3 decent signings. One of them has to be a centre back, one of them has to be a midfielder to replace Ramsey, and one of them is maybe a left back as well. But I'm going to get out of here now. Very, very disappointing. It feels like a missed opportunity on many, many occasions. We've probably had half a dozen opportunities to feels like a lost year. But hey, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. In the next video, guys, I'm going to do an in-depth look at our squad and illustrate exactly where we are top heavy, where we are deficient, and how some of the younger players can come in and help us this season. Because surely Unai Emery is going to open things up next season. This season has been one of transition, one of discovering his players, and surely now he knows the characters that he has in the squad and the players that he has, and he knows the ones that he can move forward with and the ones that he cannot move forward with. So next video, I'll be taking an in-depth look into our squad and what we can do next season in preview of our summer transfer window, whatever that's going to look like.